Hello, this is Brittany Davault with case study 2 for SPCE 638, section 806 with Dr. Diana Wilson. Our behaviors that were targeted for reduction through ABC data assessment are verbal refusal, fit, elopement, physical aggression, property destruction. Verbal refusal defined as any instance of, but not limited to, patient one stating no or I don't want to when a demand is placed. A new occurrence happens once a new demand is presented. For fit, any instance of patient one crying, screaming, or dropping to the floor for 5 seconds or more may include property destruction and physical aggression. A new episode happens when she is void of maladaptive behaviors for 10 seconds. Elopement, any instance of patient one leaving an area or being more than 5 feet away from therapist without gaining permission. Attempts will be counted. Physical aggression, any instance of patient one using any part of her body or an object to make forceful contact with another person. Spitting will be considered aggression and attempts will be counted. And property destruction, any instance of patient one using any part of her body to throw, rip, or crumble objects or toys, attempts will be counted. So one behavior intervention we came up with was for verbal refusal. Examples of verbal refusal include patient one. Example is patient one is told that it's time to go to the restroom. She falls to the floor, says no, and does not move for 7 seconds. Non-examples include patient one is told she needs to wait for her turn on the trampoline and she throws a toy car on the ground. See property destruction. Second, patient one asks for 2 more minutes on the swing. So we broke up the consequence intervention strategies for verbal refusal into 2 categories. The first one, because it served a dual function. First one is escape. First off, the therapist will provide a statement of affirmation. Next, using a first then statement. First, for example, first you need to match, then you can go swing. Next, the therapist will utilize 2 to 3 naturalistic demands to ensure that compliance has been gained, such as come here or here's a tissue. Number 4, attempt to return to the original demand. And then if step 4 is successful, reinforce when patient 1 complies with the demand. If the verbal refusal does spiral into tantrum or fit behavior, stomping, crying, or screaming, transition to an available room, close the door and ignore her, but stay in the room. Engage in an activity she may find reinforcing. Keep a neutral face and bring no verbal attention or eye contact until she is calm and is able to converse or comply with demands. And we will not be using statements like, no, we don't do that. Number 7, once she is able to talk, return to step 2. Next, we have the consequence intervention strategy for denied access. First, when what she wants is unavailable, which is natural, give a statement of affirmation and give 3 other options of equal value. I understand you're upset right now. You can't swing right now, but you can have your iPad. We could grab a snack or we can listen to music. Step 2, continue offering options of novel activities like coloring, hide and seek, Legos until she chooses. If the verbal refusal spirals into tantrum behavior, such as the swamping, crying, screaming, same as the previous, we're going to transition to an available room, close the door and ignore her, but stay in the room, engage in an activity she may find reinforcing. Step 4, once she is able to talk, affirm that it is okay to be sad, that she can't have what she wants, but there are other things you like to do. And number 5, immediately reinforce when she does make a new choice. So for the escape consequence, this was chosen due to the function of verbal refusal being avoiding unwanted demands. Also chosen for utilizing the PREMAC principle, behavioral momentum, and planned ignoring. For the denied access consequence, it was chosen to increase her emotional regulation capabilities through offering alternative options. Also utilizes planned ignoring. So are these evidence-based practices? According to the evidence-based practices for children, youth, and young adults with autism from 2020, all methods utilized are evidence-based. The PREMAC principle falls under antecedent-based interventions. The 2 to 3 naturalistic demands falls under behavioral momentum, and the planned ignoring falls under extinction. So why doesn't this actually look like a VIP? My supervisor informed me of another approach for learners of her developmental level. Her behaviors are occurring at almost age-appropriate levels and at low rates. So having a protocol instead of a BIP standardizes the approach the therapist will take when interacting with her and provides consistent consequences for patient one without the use of a full behavior intervention plan. Our applicable test content outline points. H1, this will refer to the interventions were objectively defined with clear guidance on how to implement. H2, our interventions were broken down into their respective functions. H3, socially valid alternative behaviors are to make other choices when activities are unavailable. H5, the caveat of if it spirals into tantrum behavior, fit, as we refer to it in her protocol, was added to account for possible magnitude variability. And E10, informed consent is in the form of parent approval of the protocol, and assent is built into the intervention when utilizing the 2 to 3 naturalistic demands instead of the do this, copy me structure that is commonly seen. Here are my references. Thank you very much.